Well, hello. It is Sarah Jane from Access Your True Nature. Happy Friday to you. Post in the comments your wins for the week. January is running by at a pace of knots, and we're moving toward the full eclipse, this beautiful blue moon on the 31st, and we're being asked to let go of things that don't no longer serve us, and to really look at how do we want to live into our legacy going forward. And I have just had an incredible conversation with Jennifer Cunningham. She's putting on a great summit. Hi Kelly, hi Leslie, around post-traumatic empowerment, which I thought was really interesting and right up my alley, seeing as I work with helping people and animals to transform trauma into triumph and truth-telling, and go into the blind spots to really live an empowered, fulfilled life on purpose. And I have a question for you today. I just want to ask you this because it's been coming up and top of mind, but do you, hi Janet, hi Sunil, do you believe that there is a definition of normal health? That in order to be healthy, you have to balance the body, the mind, the spirit, hi Barb, your finances, your heart, on all 5 levels without exception. And this applies for you and your animals, because cultures all across the world have made claims to this definition for centuries, but not so much in our modern world, in the Western world. Oh dear, I have a bad connection. But the same is true for your animals, and I want you to really take a deep look at the current state of the healthcare system as it is right now, and see why it has no potential to create healing. Absolutely none, whether that's veterinary or it is human health. And don't get me wrong, you know, traditional medicine and veterinary medicine, it has its place, right? It's done a great job with addressing the physical body from a state of emergency. But there's a lot of limitations here. Hi, Judith. I'm really excited about this because more and more people are finally starting to ask generative questions and get informed and acknowledge that the mind, our thoughts and our emotions and our feelings contribute to health, both on a physical level for ourselves, but for our animals as well. Hello, Pascal. So I want to get to the root cause of why our bodies are imbalanced and diseased. Because until we go there, we can't change anything. And medicine now is really recognizing the influence of chronic stress on the physical body. Hello, Tony Tate. So some people are actually starting to see chronic unpredictable toxic stress is contributing to the health or the disease of our animals as well. And I always say we're the gun and the environment is the trigger. So the events and our environments are actually the things that are shaping us into being healthier and healthy. And in a growing brain, this is where adverse childhood experiences come in. And there's a lot here that we need to learn. So I want to ask you, what about spirit? You know, post in the comments below if this is resonating with you. Give me some yeses, some hearts. And because I really want to look at what does spirituality have to do with. All right, I have a really bad connection, but you know, a lot of people believe that spirit and religion are synonymous, and they don't want to enter into this kind of conversation. But really, religion isn't spirituality, not the way I'm talking about it. Where I've been talking with animals, I've been working with animals from a slightly woo perspective, but it's because all right, I keep losing the connection, but you know, this whole idea of addressing the whole body, mind, heart, spirit on all levels, right? Emotional, mental, physical, is becoming a lot more mainstream, thank goodness. And animals do have emotions. They do have feelings. They're sentient beings, and we have to look at this. If we're going to help our animals, we have to help ourselves. Hi, Glenn. Hi, Peter. So does this make sense that we need to help ourselves before we can help others? It's like putting your oxygen mask on before you put it on others. And I think that this is very encompassing, because if you just, like, for example, imagine that you're looking at a target on a piece of paper, and you've got these concentric rings that go smaller and smaller and smaller as you move your focus to the bullseye. Now imagine each of these circles represents like this energetic dimension or the frequency, where the outside frequencies are a higher dimensional energy pattern, and they have a much higher vibrational frequency. And then each smaller circle, as you go in, moving toward, excuse me, is a lower vibrational frequency as you move in toward the middle of the energy. And the middle of the target is the densest dimensional energy that we call matter, right? Or in healthcare, this is the so the direction of energy, the influence always moves from the outer toward the center. In other words, from the higher energetic dimensions. These are the ones that are affecting the lower physical states, and it doesn't work in reverse. The lower dimensional energetic states don't influence the higher ones. It's just, that's how nature created us, to have sattva, raja. In the gunas, the tamasic levels are all different in these energetic states, and our bodies are dense. I hope you're following me here. I didn't mean this to be a whole science lesson, but does it make sense that if the harmful energies last long enough, due to this sort of direction of influence, which is your environment, that your body's going to be affected by it? The body says no, as Gabor Mate speaks of it in his books. And this is where dis-ease, or the body breakdown, where your body is out of ease, starts to fall apart. And this is why so many people are taking antidepressants, and most of them are going to stay on it for life, because why? The source of the problem, what created the depression in the first place, or the anxiety, began at the higher dimension, and it's actually being treated on a lower dimension, the physical. So just remember, the lower vibrational frequencies are the band-aid, okay? They're not going to influence in healing. So when we use conventional medicine, Western medicine only, this Cartesian approach, what we're addressing primarily is only the body, or the physical dimension, and we're separating out the other parts, and healing can't occur from that level. So the best that we can actually hope for is a cure, and that can only happen if the source of the disease occurred at the same energetic frequency or level or dimension that you created it. So for example, it might be a broken bone. So I was talking about the bones and how, it heals because maybe you have some pins or your arms put in a cast, and over time, because that's what it takes to heal, and time doesn't heal, it conceals, but the bone will heal, but it'll have that cellular memory of it. And Albert Einstein says you can't solve an energetic problem with the same energy that you created the problem with. And remember, we're living in a world of cause and effect. So from a healing perspective, he was dead on accurate when he said that in order for us to direct healing from a body, mind and spirit. So this connection is driving me crazy. So I was saying that in order for us to completely heal holistically, we have to look on all levels, right? Not just on the... I'm going to go inside because this connection is horrendous. But does it make sense so far? Give me a yes if it does, that we need to heal on a higher dimensional energy, which is at spirit, and that's where miracles occur. And this is where you hear people are going into remission from stage 4 cancers, or having a near-death experience where everything in their lives changes, because it has to go away in order for them to get realigned with the energetic blueprint, this divine blueprint that you came in with, which was healthy and whole and complete right from the time that you incarnated. So we have to be open to this. Does this make sense? Okay, let me find some light. We have to look at the skeptic minds, because anything that's skeptic is going to create doubt. So just know your mind doesn't have the ability to believe in something that it can't see, because we're always looking for evidence. And it is willing, though, to be open and observe the results objectively, and you'll know this if you've told your mind before that you're going to be open to looking at something from a different space. You're going to get the proof of life. You're going to get the evidence, and then you can move on. And the next requirement is really being in the present moment. And this is why all my work starts with returning people and animals to trust through my trust process that I teach. Because if you're not in your body, in the present, you can't see it from a different perspective, right? You're still in your old story. So if that's you, let me know what you're struggling with right now, because I get this can be extremely difficult for people that have grown up with a very Western Cartesian approach that a pill fixes everything, right? Or that you have no power over your own healing. And people have a lot of difficulty with the meaning making of this, because we're actually always in the present moment. And most of the time, we are directing our attention outside to our distractions, to our addictions, to what other people have to say, the busy mind chatter in our own heads that comes up from our reasoning. And this is the ego mind, right? Because it functions to remember the past in order to create the imaginary future, because it hasn't happened yet. It's always from leading our awareness away from what is required in this present moment. Making sense? Give me some thumbs, hearts, comments, questions, because we need to turn our attention away from the mind in the present moment and employ the mind, right, to work for your body, for your soul's purpose, by really focusing on what's happening in the now, in the present moment. Excuse me. And even when we look at this with our animals, we need to turn our attention to our animal and put all our attention on them. And this is why they're such great healers, because they help us to stay present. And it might take a bit of practice in the beginning, but it's so worth it in the long run to just stay with it. Because when you're able to keep your awareness in the present moment, excuse me, and I teach it, as I said, through the trust process and my shadow work, that's when you can start trusting to put your attention onto your body's innate intelligence in your intuitive process, because it's very quiet there. It's a place of stillness that's always there, waiting for us to access and to tap into and really illuminate the parts that are ready to be integrated and healed. And this is, really our connection to spirit, and how when we look at these higher vibrational frequencies, everything changes. Now somebody's trying to phone me on this phone, so I don't know what's going on. Today is pretty crazy, but does it make sense that this is fertile ground, the higher levels for spontaneous healing? And it's an emptiness that's far from being empty, because you will find the source of those really incredible things like love and allowance and compassion and kindness and grace and faith and trust, because judgment can't exist there. And you might find that space with meditation or prayer or mindfulness or using the trust process, or just being totally still in this moment, in this 0 point field, what I call the God space. And your intention will always guide you there, as long as you don't let your busy mind get in the way. And you got to just trust your body to lead the way. When those thoughts come up, notice them. Don't resist them. Just let them be there until there's just this luminal empty space, this 0 point field, where you can now start to introduce focused intention on really directing laser precision healing to the parts that need healing, because Source knows your intention. So can you imagine when your animal and you are in perfect health, when you can just be there and experience that moment right now? Anything is possible, because your mind doesn't know what's real and what isn't. And since the mind's energy is very high vibrational, it's higher than the body, it's always going to direct the body to respond according to your attitudes, your beliefs, your programming and everything. And this is where we need to do some mind hacks, and where I'm really good at helping people like you to support yourselves in identifying it and acknowledging it and letting it go. And in that space, often you don't have to do anything about it. The universal law and the law of compensation, which is a big one, it'll always guide you. The universe will meet you there. That's the trusting in the universe having your back, trusting in God, in divine, in life. And then it'll likely direct you to participate in the process as being in choice. Remember, if you're confused, you just need more information. So when you access that space, everything starts to change when you ask, okay, I'm a little confused here. This is the process of asking, what information do I need here? And this is where healthcare hasn't evolved with this, right? So if you're interested in finding out how you can access more of that, I have a couple more slots available for private one-on-one sessions with me. And I think at this stage, I probably have about 3 VIP one-on-one days available for the end of January. And we can really look at what you need and what your animals need and write your own personal prescription. Because that's what I want more than anything, is to empower you to know that you know that you know that you are your own medicine. And it's time to be your own medicine. So let me know if this resonates with you. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below on this thread. I do go back and read all of them if you're listening to this replay. And if you feel like you need some support or you'd like a fierce medicine guide by your side, you know how to get hold of me when you're ready. I'm here for you. I'll meet you there. And I've got some wonderful new things coming in the next couple of weeks. And we're on day 4 of Illuminate, the 5-day journey to find your gifts in the shadows. And this is a self-paced 5-day journey that can take you a month, or it can take you 2 days, or it can take you however long it needs to take. And we're going into the cave, we're doing a lot of forgiveness work, we're journaling. The results already have been spectacular, and we haven't even gone into the cave yet. So tomorrow we meet our dragons. So if you'd like to join us, you still can. Everything is delivered via email to you. And, you know, it's $33. It's a no-brainer. I made this really a no-brainer, because there's so many people that are starting off January feeling confused and overwhelmed and like they're being tossed around in a very choppy, stormy sea without any anchors. So this is a great way, even if you've done the mindfulness change or the purpose mapping process with me before, this is a great opportunity to get in on this really low investment and come and join us. So have a great weekend wherever you are. Know that you're loved. Know that you are your own medicine. And let's celebrate a whole new paradigm of healthcare that includes all of you. No more separation between body, mind, and spirit. All right. Take care. Bye. Mwah.